Hello everyone, this video is about memorization, Fleming 3 different learning styles according to the eye positions as well. So you can see it's like the eye position can tell if somebody is creating a new memory or recalling. And the visual learning style, this means you learn by seeing and looking. You will take detailed notes rather than get involved in discussions. Tend to sit in the front so you can see clearly. Benefits from illustrations and presentations, and especially those in color. Make comments like, how do you see the situation? What do you see? What do you see stopping you? Do you see what I'm showing you? Auditory learning style. This means you learn by hearing and listening. You will enjoy discussions and talking things through and listening to others. Acquire knowledge by reading aloud. Hum and or talk to yourself. Make comments like, I hear you clearly, I'm wanting you to listen. This sounds good or sounds good. Kinesthetic learning style, this means you learn by touching and doing. It's a more practical way of learning. A lot of people are kinesthetic because they feel like they have to learn by doing. You will need lots of breaks and you will want to move around. Speak with your hands and gestures. Remember what was done but have difficulty with what was said or seen. Learn through doing activities. Make comments like, how do you feel about this? Let's move forward together. Are you in touch with what I'm saying? This woman is in her thoughts. She's remembering sounds. Sorry. She's remembering feelings. She's remembering images. Which style are you? So visual, likes to keep written records, typically reads billboards while driving, puts something together easily using written directions, follows written recipes easily when cooking, reviews for a test by writing summary or notes, writes on napkins in a restaurant, commits a zip code or phone number to memory by writing it, uses visual images to remember names, is a bookworm, plans the upcoming week by writing it down, prefers written directions from an employer, prefers to get a map and find own way in a strange city, prefers reading, writing games like Scrabbles. So this is very interesting to see how you can deal with colleagues or students. Everyone is different according to the way we interact with the new information and also how we can memorize it. Okay, so we cannot force somebody who's kinesthetic to become visual. Now, auditory, prefer to have someone else read instructions or directions while building or cooking. Reviews for a test by reading notes aloud and by talking with others. Talks aloud when working on math problems or crosswords. Prefers listening to an audio session over reading the same material. Commits zip code or phone number to memory by saying it aloud. Uses rhyming words to remember names. Plans the upcoming week by taking it through with someone. Prefers oral instruction from an employer. Likes to stop at a service station for directions in a strange city. Prefers talking listening games. Keeps up on the news by listening to the radio. Is able to concentrate deeply on what another person is saying, and uses free time for talking with others. So talkers, they like to talk, they like the sound. If a boss gives, let's say, spoken directions, like this is that is that you do this, a visual learner will need to take notes, okay, to write it down. May not remember all the different informations, and the speaker can say, well, I told you many times, but if you're a visual learner, you may have difficulties to remember because you need to write down everything. So this is also, we call it miscommunication. It's not really a miscommunication. It's like, how do I perceive the information and how do I remember it? Okay. Now, kinesthetic. In French, that would be kinesthetic because we don't pronounce the th like this. So likes to build things, uses sense of touch to put things together, can distinguish items by touch in the dark or blindfolded, learns touch system rapidly in typing, moves with music, doodles and draws on any available paper, is an outdoors person, moves easily, is well coordinated, spends a large amount of time on crafts and handiwork, likes to feel texture of things, prefers movement games to games where one just sits, find it fairly easily to keep physically fit, uses free time for physical activities. You're not gonna force a kid or somebody who's kinesthetic to stay seated for many hours, except if there is a, they make a living and they don't have any choice. But for kids, when they still have some kind of a freedom, you may not you may have kids who develop ADD or ADHD because they need to move. Some kids can stay seated for many hours without complaining about it, but most of the kids will find it difficult. And so a lot of people, when I say people, is like parents and also psychotherapists. They easily think of a treatment in order to help the kid to stay seated for longer than expected. First of all, it's really not healthy. Second of all, you are creating an addiction to the kid, depending on treatments and chemicals in order to rewire the brain instead of doing it alone and naturally. I'm a big believer in doing things, changing the plasticity of your brain naturally with no help. Since the food we eat nowadays is not really, is not rich in nutrients, minerals, vitamins, so we need probably supplements, but nothing, nothing made by a lab that is with the purpose of, diminishing your ability to think and function. So just be careful of that. So there is a PDF here. This is, I didn't make it. I don't know if I can open it. I don't think I can open it, but this is very important before you commit to learning something, is to know how you learn. What kind of a learner are you? This is a question I ask every time I give an evaluation. I'm gonna have my own evaluation, but I will also ask the person if the person already knows how this person learn, get the information, memorize it. So I always say to digest the information. That means you need time, repetition, breaks. Okay, and not remembering is part of the memorization problem, the memorization process. The problem is when you forget the same information over and over and over and over again. This is when you are like, okay, it may not be the problem of the teacher. It can be probably the kids may not have the ability to memorize well. Okay, so either the kids is kinesthetic, needs to move, or visual, so we need to do more drawing and stuff like this. But the sound, when you learn a language, the sound is important as well. So speaking is also important because you show the kid, well, this is how you pronounce a word. Okay, so it can be with adults as well, but the number one step is focusing. If and the parents needs to help the kids to focus on a longer period of time every time. Okay, when you reach a certain age, you can still play and learn, but the world is not like this. The world is kind of tough on kids who being, using a lot of gaming stuff in order to learn. This is, I'm not against that, but I would say you've got to see what kind of person you have in front of you, and also create some kind of a build up an endurance to help the kids to develop some kind of a mental endurance and last longer. But you also taking breaks, and also doing fun stuff, not just being serious 100% of the time. Anyways, if you have any questions concerning this, if you need an evaluation, if you want to learn French, if you want um, to improve your ability, your ability to learn how to learn. Uh, if you have any kind of projects where you need to focus on something, but you feel like your mind is sabotaging you because you don't know how to really start, let me know. I can help you on this level. And you have a nice day. Au revoir.